In this episode of the podcast, joined by my good friend for many years, Mr. Dan Miller, who was fresh off a recent move into a new apartment. So he was telling me all about the moving process, and I figured now is as good a time as any to, talk about U-Haul because he rented one himself. So gave me a kind of firsthand view of how it operates. We looked up some more, and as always, the conversation got off topic, but that's how it is sometimes. Anyway, enjoy episode number 10, U-Haul. And the bot is back. Craig,
Right?
back in action. It's actually been a while. I forget when the last one we did was, but anyway. U-Haul, because you just moved into the new apartment. So, how was the process overall?
It was
The rundown.
a very decent process. Moving's a pain. I understand why everyone walks around telling the world that they hate moving because it's a pain. Renting a U-Haul was easy, except there was a bitter man at the U-Haul yelling at the other employees, or not yelling at the employees, and I was sort of there, wondering why this guy was shouting at him, and they were just sort of sitting there. That was fun, but renting a U-Haul was a convenient way to rent a truck, because they give you a truck that's like pretty big for even though you don't need a special license for it, which is cool. So as a process, it worked out well. It's not too expensive. It's you can put all your
How
junk
much
in
did
there.
it cost?
I think the whole thing cost me $70 or something for the 15-foot truck. But if I wanted to be less lazy about packing, I could have gotten the 10-foot truck for like $20 for like $10 cheaper. But like on top of all of it, they like start you at like a base like $20 or $30 depending on what size truck you get, and then they charge you like $1.20 per mile after that.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not bad.
No, because like you said, it was like $75 for you the whole day.
Yeah.
That's like the price of like renting like a zip car for the day. So when you think about like what you get.
Yeah, I had to go to my old place, unpack it, go to a new place, and then drive it back to U-Haul. So it's sort of, it was covered a bit of distance, but
doesn't sound too bad at all.
No. It's definitely weird driving the big truck, but I was gonna take.
I don't know if it was U-Haul or what it was, but I remember when we were when I was a bit younger and we got like the Cape Cod house. We like moved a whole bunch of furniture from our home to there, and my mom rented like, I forget how big it was. It wasn't like enormous, but it was like a good size one. It had like a proper truck cab. And I just remember sitting up in that thing. You're so high up on the road. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, you
like,
see right over
the
everyone.
vantage point. Like, that's something that's like really different between driving like a sedan and then moving up to like a truck and then one of those actual like commercial trucks.
Yeah.
Like, you are pretty damn high up there when you get into the cab of one of those.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I always knew what that was like. From when I was like 4, my dad was bringing me around in oil trucks.
Yeah.
And those cabs are, those are 10 feet up or whatever. So those, you need a CDL to drive them. They're big trucks. So I was, that was fun as a kid though, getting to ride in those trucks.
It's pretty cool being, all the way up there. Like, you feel like you're king of the road.
Yeah. Yeah. People can't mess with you. You're like,
yeah, you're like trying to mess with me. You'll get run off the road, pal.
Yeah. I've been that guy trying to mess with trucks and get ran off the road. It's happened to me before. My tiny ass car. They're like, get out of here. I'm like, all right.
Tin can. They're like, shoo.
Yeah. So it was good. It
only took you one trip, right?
Yeah. Just one trip.
Yeah.
Didn't have that much stuff. Although the thing I didn't have, and the thing like they have a bunch of equipment that like you can buy there to help the moving process, but they didn't. But I didn't have ratchet straps, and I didn't have any straps of any kind. So I just sort of tossed all the junk in the truck and just hoped it wouldn't fall over.
Mm-hmm.
Which, not like in hindsight, it wasn't an awful plan, but it also wasn't a good plan. I did break one of my really cool lamps that a lot of people thought were cool. It just like the mirror fell over and landed on the lamp and it broke the lamp.
But the
But
mirror didn't break.
the mirror didn't break now, and it fell over on a bunch of stuff. So I was like, that's kind of a win, given that I literally didn't tie any of it down. I just chucked it all in there.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was pretty cool. And the people at the U-Haul were helpful enough. They didn't try to. They do this thing though, where they try to screw, or they don't try to screw you, but they try to scam you a little bit because their rule is, and it's kind of annoying because they charge you per mile, but also like their rule is however much gas was in it when you left has to be how much gas is in it when you return. So like they charge you per mile and pay you for the gas, and I'm like, all right, I get I'm renting the truck, but like just charge me for the gas, whatever. Um, but essentially they give, and like my friend also moved in the same weekend, and he's like, yeah, I got the U-Haul at half full. So they pretty much give everybody a U-Haul at half full because they think people are not going to care enough. Like they don't, because they threaten to to charge you more if it's not exactly where it was when you got it. So you have to be like they're like, oh, we'll charge you $30 if it's not exactly where it is. So they they try to get people to overfill the tank essentially. Uh,
That's pretty
when they're like,
scummy, bro.
yeah, no, it is.
Yeah,
It's
like what the heck?
like I just didn't overfill the tank. I was like, I'm putting half the, I'm putting the amount in here that I'm supposed to, and that's it.
Yeah.
But they're definitely trying to get people to buy more gas for them than they need.
That's pretty damn sneaky.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they do. Though. That's what these companies do. They look for little
Yeah.
ways that you're getting hosed. You know.
Yeah, well, you read down at the bottom, right? Like the safety problems and stuff with the U-Haul cars, the
Yeah,
trucks. Yeah,
yeah.
like that. What does it say here? 43.5% of all the inspections performed, of the 296, the like Ministry of Transportation in Ontario did that, and
Mhm.
43.5% of all of them inspected had some sort of problem.
Wow.
And 20% were found to have out of service defects, so they weren't
Jeez.
roadworthy at all.
Yeah,
Like I feel like once companies get big and kind of they don't really have too much competition, there's so much stuff that they just sweep under the rug.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend, he was like, my U-Haul was fine, but my friend who was moving on the same weekend said that like he was driving around and all of a sudden the car just wouldn't the truck wouldn't downshift, and he was driving at like 5,000 revs, uh, and he had to like drive on the highway. He was driving very far because he went to move into an apartment, uh, and then found out he couldn't park his truck there, so he needed to like go find a new place to live that day. Um,
Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah. My friend, a coworker of mine, was looking to move into a place in Arlington and went to move there. And then he tried to drive his truck into the parking garage. He has a Dodge Ram, and he tried to drive his truck into a parking garage, and it wouldn't fit. So he said, "Oh, I'm not going to move here anymore." Um, and then he moved in.
Day of, he was just like, "Yep, I'm bailing out."
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Yeah,
You would have kind of looked into that one before you pulled the trigger.
yeah. And then he went and went and crashed with his girlfriend's family. So. Um, That was, but nonetheless, he was taking a U-Haul on the highway, and apparently it just wouldn't downshift out of first gear. So he called U-Haul and he told them, "Yeah, your truck's broken." They're like, "Ah, just leave it at the closest U-Haul. We'll take care of it." He's like,
And you wonder why 43%. Absolutely.
"Yeah, yeah." I was surprised that they were just sort of like, "Oh yeah, just leave it somewhere and we'll come get it, I guess." And he's like, "All my stuff's in it."
Yeah, I kind of have all my moving stuff in there still.
Well, didn't he move?
He probably could have lived out of the car, bro.
Yeah, true.
Lived out of the U-Haul for a while.
Who would have charged him a lot of money? I wonder
Yeah.
how much that would cost if you're like
Oh, it
homeless and
probably
you need a
costs like
place to live.
tons of money because, like
Yeah,
you said, it's what, $70 per day. If
yeah, but
you're
if you're not
paying rent,
driving,
if you're
but
paying
like
like
it's
$1,000 a rent a month, that works out to like what, $50 a day?
yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
$1,000 rent might be like $30 a day. Um, but what if? But the thing is, they charge you per mile.
Mm. So you
So
said it's like $20 just the
yeah,
flat rate, and then per
yeah,
mile.
$20 and then
All
100
right,
and then a buck
gotcha.
20 per mile. So if you parked it somewhere, if you had like a Walmart parking lot or
Uh,
something, you could probably do that.
oh, you could definitely do it. There's people that live out of like those little vans, like Scooby Doo mystery
Yeah,
machine vans.
yeah, true.
I remember
Uh,
Zach was telling me he wanted to do that. He wanted to like gut a van.
that would
I
be
was like,
that would be really
I was
funny.
like,
If
you do it, Zach. Go for it.
Zach was just out of the van.
Yeah, just living out of the van.
That would be really an interesting turn in his
Yeah.
interesting
From
turn in his life if he was just
from multiple houses to van life.
asked his dad to buy him just actually buy
From
me like a
riches
really
to
nice
rag.
van. Oh man, I wouldn't
Zach,
want
if you're tuning in and you're living out of a van right now, let us know.
to. Let us know. Yeah, call in. We
Call
have
in.
to have a follow up
We owe you.
podcast. Zach from
Yeah.
the van.
Yeah. The van cast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think that would be fun though. Like the process of like gutting a van out and
Yeah.
building up all the amenities and stuff to like live out of one. That would be kind of cool. Like a fun process. Like a fun weekend type,
Yeah.
project.
As a pet project, it'd be fun. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
want to like have to
No,
live
I
out
wouldn't. I wouldn't want to have to do that out of necessity.
of
Just be like, yeah, I'm homeless. I've got to convert this car real quick.
Yeah, that wouldn't be as fun.
Let me blow up the air mattress and put it in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, it would be fun as like a pet project,
Yeah.
just as something to work on. I don't know.
There's a lot of pet projects out there. I want to build a bookshelf.
A bookshelf
Yeah, I want to get into
for all your
woodworking.
books, for all your knowledge.
For all the books. I gotta get
You know what I
5
care? You know what I am
mentors.
so much more proud of than all these Lamborghinis? These bookshelves
Books.
for all the knowledge. These books.
Read
That
5
guy's
books a
such a
day.
schmuck, dude.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ty Lopez. I haven't seen any of his ads in a while though. But
Oh
there's
no.
there's honestly so many of those copycat, like YouTube scam artist guys now.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, James and I were talking about it the other day. There's just so many more ads on YouTube.
Yeah, they definitely dialed it up because now they do like 2 per video
Yeah,
sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's pretty
Yeah.
annoying.
We were
I
also
don't like their
talking
ads
about
either.
the golden age of YouTube.
Yeah.
Remember just like the absolutely wacky videos? Remember Chocolate Rain? That
Yeah.
guy? Yeah.
Oh, like
Chocolate Rain. That guy.
the Charlie the Unicorn
Yeah,
videos.
Charlie the Unicorn, Chocolate
Yeah.
Rain. The
Yeah.
Charlie Bit My Finger.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but that
No,
was
I
like
didn't.
so popular. Like that was one of the first like immensely viral videos.
Yeah. YouTube. I mean, yeah, old YouTube was cool. It definitely.
Yeah. And it
There
just
and
had
there was,
all this like wacky stuff on it. You know what I'm saying?
and it sort of held true for a while that it was like some pretty cool content before
Yeah.
it got completely mainstreamed. Like
Yeah.
it was mainstream for a while, but
yeah, it became like too mainstream and then it just became too monetized,
yeah, yeah, it definitely became monetized to the point where the ads are.
Like I don't mind like the YouTubers who, run their own channel putting out ads and like trying to make money off of it, but
Yeah.
when it's like big corporations that have their own channels and they're just really pushing the monetization.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't mind like the guys who and like they usually have they have choice over their sponsors. Like some of those channels, some of the channels I watch, like they like they have people sponsoring their videos that aren't ads on the videos. It's like
I know what
shout
you're
out to
talking
so and so, like kind of like on the like the podcast sponsors. It's sort of the
Yeah,
same
exactly.
thing.
They just have somebody. It's not like they do it through YouTube or like Google
Yeah,
AdSense or whatever.
exactly. They reach out to this person and say, "Oh, we want to advertise on your platform."
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
usually
but
that's
the big like Vevo and stuff like that.
yeah.
Those huge corporations.
Yeah. Plus, YouTube is trying to sell more of their stuff too.
Oh yeah.
The great conversation I had with my brother one time when he called me and just listed all of the channels you can get on YouTube TV.
Who, Bry?
No, Kevin.
Oh, really?
He just called me up one day and just like pretty much read me the list, and then that was the whole conversation. And I was like, "I'm talking to you. This is really cool." It was like, dude, you got to check out YouTube TV. I'm like, oh yeah, like I have Hulu, Amazon Video, and Netflix right now. And he's like, oh yeah, but
Let me
YouTube
read you a
TV.
list real quick.
He literally did that. YouTube TV has FX and ESPN and CBS and NBC. You can watch the Discovery Channel, Animal Planet. He just kept going. And I then hung up, and I was like, all right.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for the ad.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably sponsored by them.
Yeah.
Probably gets a commission.
This phone call was sponsored by YouTube.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Going back to the U-Haul thing, another thing that kind of puzzles me is I understand they're just being lazy with the maintenance and stuff, but you'd think that they'd try to cover their own asses and like that the maintenance costs would be cheaper than having to settle lawsuits. And it sounds like they've had to do settle a couple of lawsuits that come from the accidents.
You know, you think that, but like these guys have really big finance spreadsheets, and like I don't know, sometimes when I think about what these companies are up to, like it's shitty to think that they would look at it and say, oh, we could fix these trucks, or they have an actuary calculate the probability behind it and say, oh, you can probably, if this accident happens for not, there's a probability of this accident happening. Yeah, exactly.
If like 3 accidents happen a year, if we get like 3 people die.
Yeah, exactly. And that's,
it's kind of some messed up math.
Oh, it's totally messed up. Yeah. I think it's unethical business, in my opinion. That's not, you can't put out especially when you're talking about road and car, you can't.
And mostly because if it was just the driver, like that got injured, I mean, it's not as bad. But since like an accident could involve just like completely innocent, like, you could just like hit a car that has a whole family in it, like young kids, something like that. That's what really makes it messed up for me. I mean, if it was just like the person renting it who's at risk, like you kind of could disclose it to them, and
they have a chance to learn about the risk. Yeah.
But for the other people,
it's pretty messed up.
Bystanders.
And also it's an insurance thing too. They're like, I'm sure their insurance company looks at what they how much maintenance they do and decides, oh, we're going to charge you X amount. And it's like, oh, well, we'll charge you a little, we'll charge you. I don't know. It's weird because
not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
If they repaired their car, like they had it fully repaired.
Yep.
The insurance costs wouldn't go down too much for them.
Yeah. Or maybe it would go down.
Companies are scumbags.
But it doesn't even matter.
Enough for them to recoup that money.
It would just have to go down, if it went down less than what it costs to fix the trucks, then it wouldn't make sense to fix the trucks.
Yeah. It's messed up.
Well, it sounds like they had a pretty, their backstory was a little bit interesting. Apparently they had like literal physical altercations in their meetings in the transfer between the original founders and the kids.
It's like a family business, yeah.
Yeah. And they like tried to transfer it.
Just fights breaking out.
I mean, like if somebody was trying to leave you in business, like I feel like I could see some hands being thrown.
Oh yeah,
especially if it was a couple years ago.
Catch these hands, bro.
Whew, watch out. I mean, if I had worked with Kevin on a business, oh my god, I would just. He would catch the hands. Man, he would drive me nuts.
Another lawsuit that was listed. Pods, like the other moving thing, like the storage.
Yes.
I just combine. I'm coining that word, movage.
It's a good word. It sounds
storage,
nice.
Moving.
Movage.
That's the company name. They're going to be their competitor in 5 years. Better watch out, U-Haul. We warned you. And Pods.
Gotta come up with a moving company.
Pods. So the U-Haul started using the word pods in their advertisement, and so Pods sued them. Dude, they lost $62 million.
Wow.
That's so crazy. Just because you used a word.
Yeah, that IP those IP lawsuits are no joke when they actually have somebody to sue.
I know. Like, that's a crazy amount of money.
That is crazy.
Do you remember actually you're not from West Hartford, so you wouldn't remember it all. But anyway, this lady ran into a gate that blocks off the entrance to the West Hartford Reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a bicycle, and this thing is painted brightly, and it's a gate in the middle of the road. Like, there's no way you can't see it. And anyway, this dumbass lady ran into it on her bike and like broke her bones because she's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then sued the town for $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was that in the suing people craze back in the day?
Yeah,
or people are still doing that where they're trying to sue people for it.
Yeah, that was like in the McDonald's coffee lawsuit.
Okay, but that one, like, it's interesting because while there were a lot of nonsense lawsuits that came off of that one in particular, and like I remember when my mom was in law school, she read that case and like everyone agreed that the woman had a legit case and had no reason to not sue. Like,
yeah. No, I've seen the case notes for that one too. I've seen like the description of that case, and it makes sense, but the amount of money is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was like what, like $10 million or something?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah,
it was
crazy, just insane amounts of money.
Yeah.
And it's more so. You're right. You're totally right. It's more so the lawsuits that were spun off of that.
Because because the media kind of made that one sound ridiculous. Because like it is weird. Oh, you spilled coffee on yourself.
Yeah.
But then you look at it like in that case, all the other, like that particular McDonald's coffee was like 30 degrees hotter than anywhere else in the area. Like
it was like boiling water.
It was boiling water. Yeah.
And then also there's like something with the lid or something like that.
Yeah, it actually. Yeah. And like that, she had like 3rd-degree burns. Like
yeah, you don't get 3rd-degree burns from normal coffee.
I don't know. I almost got some burns today trying to cook lasagna. You ever freaking? You ever cook lasagna?
I have cooked lasagna. Didn't get 3rd-degree burns. Sorry to disappoint, man.
Well, now I'm a fancy
Next time I'm over with you and you're cooking dinner, I'm gonna bring my own fire extinguisher. That's why the fire department was at your apartment complex. They knew you were cooking lasagna. The new Sunday.
Yeah, no, I'm a fancy guy, so I don't just buy frozen lasagna. That's outrageous.
No. Stofers, who never heard of them.
Ridiculous. So I went and bought, lasagna noodles, and I was like, let me pop this in the pot, I'll boil it up, make some lasagna. It'll be cool. I put it in the pot, and I realized my pot is just not big enough to hold lasagna noodles. And I asked Becca, I'm like, oh, can I break these in half? And she's like, well, you really shouldn't. And I said, damn, I guess I won't break them in half then. And so I just try to kind of jam them in the pot. And like they were just sort of hanging out and the water started boiling, but I was trying to jam them in there while the water was boiling. But I just sort of was not being careful with my, with my jamming the noodles in, because like I was like trying to get them to soften up. I was, sort of like a butter churn. I was sort of stuck, or like when you're trying to like pound something into the trash can, one of those types of things. And
I'm just imagining a lot of force,
Yeah, exactly. Maybe too much force. And I like hit it, and the boiling water like splashed everywhere, and it like almost burnt me. And but then at the end of the day, lasagna did get into the water and got made into lasagna. But it was a close call for a minute there. It, jumped up and splashed me, and I said, "Oh shit, gotta watch out for that."
Wow,
it's a harrowing tale. Making dinner with me is
riveting.
You asked for more explanation. That was your fault.
No, I did. I'll own up to that one.
I never said it was a good story. I just said I almost got burned by lasagna.
Why can't you break them in half?
Because we were actually rolling it up. We were going to make roll-ups. Chicken Alfredo, you put it in the lasagna and you roll it up, and then it's like a cylinder of chicken Alfredo with lasagna.
Yeah, but okay, so you need like the whole thing to roll it up, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh.
It actually tastes.
Why don't you just do half of it and then flip it over and do the other half?
Well, it's just the diameter of the pot was bigger than like the length of the lasagna was larger than the diameter of the pot. So I could
no, yeah. So put it in vertically, and then you flip it around.
Well, yeah, but then I have to hold the flaccid lasagna.
Oh yeah, you don't. I wouldn't want to hold any flaccid lasagna pieces.
Like
only erect lasagna pieces are touching my hand.
Exactly.
You're right. Hands down, you're right. No argument there.
So my method
I'm
was
glad we settled that. The
solving
curious
problems
case of the
today.
flaccid lasagna noodles.
Oh man, freaking lasagna! Tasty noodle though.
Oh yeah. What
As
is
far
it?
as noodles go,
What's that brand? Like the pasta brand that has the navy blue box with the red.
Borelli's,
Yeah, Barilla.
Barilla.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the best. Or
yeah.
maybe it is Borelli's.
I don't
I
really
forget.
know.
One's like a tire company, and one's a pasta.
Well, the Goodyear's the tire company.
No, there's a like an Italian tire company.
Oh really?
Yeah, that
Yokohama.
sponsors Inter from
Oh,
Milan.
oh, you're right.
Pirelli, that's what it
Oh,
is.
Pirelli.
Yeah,
What's up with tire
Pirelli. That was
companies sponsoring
close.
soccer teams?
Yeah, I know they love doing that. Yokohama,
Yeah.
Pirelli. I'm sure
Soccer.
like Bridgestone or
Yeah, I think Bridgestone does do one.
yeah. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
I'm like, why is that a thing? Like, do tire companies find that soccer fans are susceptible to tire ads? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, I guess you have to drive a car to the soccer stadium.
You don't have to though. If it's in a
That's
city,
true. You could take
you can
public
take the train.
transportation. Be a
You can take the
responsible
train to the one in
city-dwelling
DC.
citizen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like some Brazilian team maybe.
Huh. I went to
Yeah, a lot of
Goodyear.
tires.
Freaking tires! I'm mad. My car's got a tire bubble in it.
Oh, yeah, aren't
Yeah.
you getting a new car soon?
Yeah, in like a week or two. So I was
Oh,
like, they're like,
nice. Very
guy at
nice.
Goodyear was like, you need to put 4 tires on this car immediately. And I'm like, dude, I'm getting rid of the car in like 2 weeks.
You're like,
Like,
no, I don't think I will.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully in a week or two, I'll be getting it.
it's kind of weird. Have you seen any Chelsea games recently?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Yeah, I just tuned into like 15 minutes one the other day
Yeah,
because I haven't been following it as closely as I used to. But it's just
right.
weird. It's weird now because like
The whole
nobody's
team's different.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also with the whole transfer ban thing,
Hmm.
that kind of sucks. I'm so mad that Man City didn't get banned.
Yeah,
Like
they did the same thing, right?
they did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
No ban. It's so
yeah,
corrupt. Like
yeah. I mean,
it's really.
that's
They've
the
also
whole.
spent like. I mean, I don't mind teams spending money to get good because you have to do that.
Right.
But when when the financial fair play rules are literally just tossed out the window for Man City and PSG, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Man
it's a
City has
little.
spent like over 600 million in the past 3 years.
It was interesting though. I saw this year the total Premier League spending actually went down for the first time.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
because last year was so crazy.
yeah, that's true. They've been spending so much lately.
Last year was the Neymar transfer, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Wasn't
was
he going
so
to get
crazy.
transferred again too?
Yeah, I think he still could possibly get transferred because Barca and Madrid are still trying to get him.
Wow. Barca
Yeah,
wants him back.
yeah, I wouldn't want him back. Neymar seems like such a douche.
Yeah, he seems like more trouble than he's worth, sort of, for like a
Exactly.
team.
Like I guess he's huge marketing wise though, because
Yeah.
like he must sell a ton of jerseys.
Right. Well, because they have the Brazil market, which
Hmm.
is a ton of people,
Yeah,
and they all watch soccer. It's not like having the
and
American
also
market where
I think Neymar's just got good international branding too, because
Yeah.
like people, tons of American people will buy his jersey too, just because it's
Mhm.
like Neymar. You know, that's like a name they know.
Yeah, a lot more than a guy like Hazard or something, where
Mhm.
you get him more because he's a talent. Like not that Neymar's not a talent, but people who know Hazard know him because he's a talented player, not because he's a famous name in the game. Like
Yeah, yeah. He's not known because he's a diva. Like Neymar's
yeah,
a diva,
yeah, exactly. He's just known for
being
supreme
sick at
talent.
soccer. Yeah.
How's he doing at Madrid? Do we know?
He got injured, so he hasn't played recently. But he scored his first goal like a couple weeks ago, so I think he's been
Hmm.
doing good. It's just
I hope
Madrid
he
is
does
not
well.
nearly as good as they used to be.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah,
Hmm.
I was super sad that he left because he was such a good player, and I loved watching him. And Chelsea will not be nearly as good for a while now. But also, he did spend 7 years on the team.
And he played great. I mean, I can't. Yeah.
He played awesome. Like won a ton of trophies for
Yeah.
Chelsea. I mean, he has every right to move on. So
Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
hopefully he does well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Madrid is not what it used to be. I don't think they'll ever get back to the Ronaldo level.
I mean, who knows what'll happen in a few years? But yeah, for now, it's sort of it's.
Yeah, but 3 Champions Leagues in a row. I don't think
Yeah.
that's
I mean, that's just crazy from any.
that was also super lucky for Madrid too.
Yeah.
It was almost like the Warriors, you know how like the Warriors just kind of ran into strokes of good luck year after year.
While also having a good team, it was
Oh
like
yeah, exactly. But that's the exact same thing with Real Madrid.
yeah, it was a good team that also had good luck.
Hmm.
Yeah,
They weren't as dominant as
as the
Warriors
records.
were.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
And also in basketball, it's like, you know,
It's
7
easier to
game
dominate,
series.
when it's a small. Well,
So
I feel like in basketball it's different than like soccer and some of the sports that require more players because it's definitely easier to dominate in the 5-man sports.
yeah, and you can have superstars just completely take over the game.
Right.
Like in soccer, you can have superstars take over, don't get me wrong, but you kind of need more pieces to work together to get that to
Well,
happen.
the other piece is just like I feel like they have to be better. It's not, I feel like
Yeah, you can have a
you
team get carried by one player in the NBA, but a
yeah.
team can't really get carried by one player
Yeah,
in
exactly. The overall
soccer.
quality of the team needs to be higher, yeah.
Mhm.
So, Real Madrid.
And also in soccer, since Champions League is just, 2-game aggregate, it's not the
Right.
same as a best of 7.
Yeah,
Like the better team will win
more often than
95%
not.
of the time in the playoffs in the NBA. But in Champions League, you have so many more upsets.
Right. I like that format though. I like the two-leg tournament format. I think it's
No, yeah,
effective.
I like it a lot too. I feel like that the NBA could use something like that.
They could use they got to get rid of. To me, they need to make the first round best of 5. Like
Yeah, I think that would probably be good.
something just to make it like just to force some team because I think what a lot of other American playoffs do and what a lot of other knockout style tournaments do is they make people perform under pressure, whereas in the NBA it's not like there's because every series is a best of 7, especially those first round series. Those top teams are not forced like it's
No, they're not forced into playing as hard as they, should
yeah,
be.
and like I understand that they don't want them to get out. Like I understand people don't want people to get out just because of bad luck, but like that's part of it. And like I think it would one make the playoffs seem less incredibly long and kind of weird because it's 2 months for the NBA, but it also just to me would add a little bit of intensity to those first round games that isn't there. If you lose the first 2 games of a first round series instead of um, having 4 games and a couple at home to be able to mess with, like now all of a sudden you have to win the next game.
Yeah, it
You know
puts
that
the pressure on.
that's how baseball does it, and it's sort of it's frustrating to be a fan sometimes because it's you wonder
Also,
if the best team wins, but
I think it's a lot better for injuries too, because
right,
like so many people get injured just because of the length of it. Because
yeah,
there's so many games in that span of time, and they're definitely playing, a lot harder. They're pushing their bodies
mm.
more so than when they do in the regular season. It's pretty obvious, but yeah, I agree with you. I think best of 5 would be a good call. And then I think they should do away with the All-Star weekend and do some sort of tournament instead.
You think?
Yeah, I think it would be more interesting because like the
Yeah,
All-Star weekend's cool and stuff, but it's like kind of meaningless, you know?
yeah, yeah. It is
Like
kind
it's
of
fun to watch, but it's not like it gets your blood flowing, your heart racing. Like there's no
right.
real kind of excitement to it. It's just kind of fun to see
I
the
don't think
players
the
play.
teams want to add extra games though. Like the All Star part
Yeah,
of
but what if it was like the bottom teams?
yeah. I mean,
Like the teams that don't get the playoffs. Like there's a bottom team playoff, like a consolation playoff thing, and then maybe they do it for like draft picks.
yeah.
Like
I mean
that's
that would
the
be
draft pick.
interesting
Yeah,
to make them play for draft picks, but To me, that couldn't be in the middle of the season. 'Cause you don't
No,
know how
so
it's going to
maybe
shake out.
you do that at the end.
Yeah, but I think one of the reasons they like the All-Star break is because for like the guys who aren't in the All-Star game, it's literally like a week off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
So
maybe keep the All-Star break and
and
then
just
do like a playoff tournament for the bottom half
I think playoff tournament
for
for
the
the draft
draft.
picks is a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I
That's
think that would make it exciting.
yeah. Although you wonder if that kind of defeats the purpose of like
Well,
them
maybe
having
you'd
the
have it half do lottery and then
yeah
half for the play because then there'd just be teams that suck, like small market teams that suck that
exactly
just getting screwed over.
yeah exactly because they couldn't get any good players in it.
Yeah. But I think they should I don't think the draft pick should just be the lottery because that was ridiculous. Like, and I
Oh
hate the
yeah
tanking thing too. Like, I
yeah
guess you can't really tank anymore. You can, but not to the same extent that you could when the odds were different.
right
But by doing it when you actually have to play for it, that makes so much more sense. Because then the players would want to play for it too.
yeah
They'd be like, "Oh yeah, we could get like if you had to play for Zion Williamson, there'd be
right
people would be going hard." You
yeah
know,
yeah
that would be intense games,
yeah
and
those would
it
be
would
really
draw a
cool
ton of viewership too.
right. Yeah, you wonder if you could just if they could make it like a small. You know how they have four. You know the real bottom of the barrel four teams play for the lottery. Like I feel like if they did it like that, where they just wouldn't let any of the. I guess that wouldn't help the tanking problem a ton, but
Hmm.
you know it would sort of it would. I mean, it would still create their. It would still maintain their idea of wanting to have not have it be a guaranteed first round pick for the worst team, so it's not a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
You
How
know.
about if you did the four bottom teams get a bye in the first round of
Mhm.
the
Oh
like
yeah,
consolation
and then the
playoff?
other teams get like a play-in. Yeah, we'll just let them know what they think. Playoff game for the draft picks.
Yeah, I think that would be sick.
Yeah,
And
draft picks
also
are
it would let you see like people play quote unquote playoff basketball
yeah
that
meaningful
you'd never
basketball.
seen. Like because those teams that there's teams that haven't been in the playoffs for what, like 10 years, more than that?
I don't know. I kind of want to find out the team with the longest drought. Um, yeah, I mean longest NBA playoff drought. Um, yeah, I would like to see. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are definitely teams that don't look in the playoffs. Oh, the Sacramento Kings have the longest drought right now.
How
13
long?
seasons,
Oh,
2006.
damn. And they're really close this year too.
Yeah. The Phoenix Suns, 9 seasons. The last playoff appearance was 2010. And then 6 seasons. Um, the Lakers are on here right now. They haven't been in the playoffs in 6 years. Um, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty long time.
I mean, so many teams in the NBA make the playoffs. It's hard to like not be in the to not be in the playoffs for 13 years. You got to be bad.
Yeah, you got to be pretty bad.
That's that's
The
bad.
Kings were bad for a while.
Yeah. Oh, they were awful. I mean, they sort of had the problem of I don't know if you know in baseball the Miami Marlins where they drafted a lot of good players for their initial round of tanking essentially in like probably 2009 and 10 and they drafted a lot of good players and then sort of it wasn't taking off right away and they were kind of being impatient so they traded away all those guys
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
then
because they had Boogie, they had Isaiah Thomas, they had
couple
who
other
else?
guys too. There was a few other guys besides Isaiah Thomas. Maybe it was Jay Crowder. There was a few other guys really good that came from the Kings. Um, but the Miami Marlins did the same thing in baseball, where they had they would have like the list of players that they traded away is kind of insane. Um, because they're all like MVP candidates or like Cy Young candidates, like some of the best players in baseball. And it's like if they were just a little bit more patient or had some better coaches, would have been fine.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a problem with a lot of franchises is they try to do the tanking and then get impatient and then trade off all their good players that they acquired.
Yeah, Well, the thing is, I think franchises don't do a good job trying to address the other problems. You can have decent players, but at that level, like for any professional sport, a lot of the players are good. I feel like coaching does have a lot to do with it, and if you don't have, especially when you're talking about developing young talent, you need to have the right coach for that. Like if you sign a bunch of free agent superstars in the NBA, yeah, you could
Yeah,
probably have a
you
pretty
can
good
put them
team.
together with anybody. But you're
Yeah,
right. You're right. Just raising them up from the draft to being an actual, you know, all-star level player
like
takes a coach.
people talk about how everybody missed Giannis and took him in the 15th pick. Like it's a ridiculous miss, but like the Bucks did a good job shaping him. Like he was an unproven product. Like people didn't know how
Yeah.
good he was going to be.
But that's the thing though with that is like there's there's probably like 10 other players that have fit the profile of Giannis. Like when he
Exactly.
first got drafted. And that I think that comes down to a mix between like the team itself, like putting faith in the player, and then the player having the drive to
Yeah.
maximize their potential. Because dude, Giannis was like what, 200 pounds?
Mm.
He put on like 50 pounds of muscle in a year.
Yeah.
Like not too many players do that.
No, he was definitely
He just had
committed
the
to.
drive, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, you're right. You have to have the team has to put faith in you, and then the coach has to put faith in the young players, and like seeing them develop and polishing them up.
Yeah. Letting them play. That is one thing to go back to Chelsea. That it's a little bit exciting now because they're actually
Oh
letting some
yeah,
young guys play.
yeah. With Lampard there, he's like put
Yeah.
up all the young guys. So and the young guys have been sick for a while, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham.
Right.
Um,
What's the guy?
what's the other guy's name?
Mason Mount.
Yeah, that guy, Pulisic. I mean, he's proven, but he's another young guy.
Yeah, he's young.
And then there's like another striker. I forget his name. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for that because
Yeah.
they'll be really good in I don't know, maybe 3-4 years.
Well, they had a great recruiting class like for the past 5 or 10 years. Their academy
Oh
has been
yeah.
ridiculous.
Their academy wins the like academy Champions League every year.
Yeah.
They just stomp. And then every single year they loan half the people away. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year with Lampard there, since he is he's was in the Chelsea system for so long, he knows.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to give these young guys a chance. These young guys are good.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they put together like a pretty decent second half of the season.
Oh no, I think they'll do fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll qualify for Champions League again, but I think they'll be top 6 definitely.
Yeah.
And then
They're in the
I
Champions
could
League
see
this
him,
year, though, right?
Yeah, they're in the Champions League this year.
Yeah.
It's just it's so competitive now between like Arsenal's kind of rebuilt, even though they still kind of suck.
Yeah. Liverpool's
Tottenham's
now
good. Liverpool's super good. Man City
Stackhouse.
a lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Man United's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I like Liverpool though.
no, I like Liverpool as well. But what was I gonna say?
Something about Man.
Yeah. It's just like all the other teams have been spending money, getting better.
Right.
So it's just gonna be tough. But they have a chance.
Yeah.
Because
I mean they don't I don't really think they have a chance to win.
No, they don't. I don't think so either. I mean, anything can happen. Leicester.
Yeah, anything can happen, but injuries and such. But
dude, I bet there's so many players on Leicester that are like, "Fuck, I should have taken that deal and signed for a big team when I had the chance." Because I remember Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy had the chance to like sign for Man U or something,
right?
For like an insane amount of money, and then he's like, "Nah, I'm staying with Leicester."
Yeah, he definitely should have maximized his value. Conte did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, Conte did well, and then Mahrez did.
Mahrez did well. Yeah,
but those are like the only two I can think of.
I mean, they were the best players on that team.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, Conte was the best.
Yeah, and
I'd say Mahrez and Vardy were about equal that year, but
yeah,
Mahrez is the better player,
right?
Overall.
What than Vardy? Yeah.
What did you say before?
Danny Drinkwater went to Chelsea, right?
Oh yeah, Danny Drinkwater. Yeah, I think he either got traded or he's on the bench. So
yeah, They got the
He
Chelsea
got
got a
his
lot of
money though.
random guys. Yeah, he did.
He got his payday.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy didn't, and neither did those defenders. Who are those guys?
Wes Morgan
Yep.
and Robbie Huth.
Oh, there we go.
Big
Yeah,
Robbie Huth. Oh
Robbie
my god.
Huth and Wes
What a
Morgan.
fun season that was too. That
Those
was
dudes
such a
were
great season.
those dudes were great. I don't know, like
Yeah, and they were like they did not look like they'd be good defenders. They just looked
They
like
didn't look
slow
athletic.
old men, and they're
Yeah.
like just beasting it up.
those headers. The
whole
amount of
season.
times you would just watch them
When
the
when
entire second half of a game.
yeah, when Robbie Huth scored back-to-back headers to win against Man. Oh, that was incredible.
I just remember watching some of those games down the stretch. Won like 8 1-0 games in a row or something. They literally would just
against
punch the ball.
good teams too.
Yeah, they would just
Against really good teams.
Vardy and them would just take it down, get one goal. Wes Morgan just taking care of anything the other team threw at them. Like that was a fun season.
That was the most incredible sports thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like the odds of that happening, it's hard to put it into perspective. Like for North American sports, like that's just not.
It's ridiculous.
I feel like if the Baltimore
It'd be like
Orioles,
the Knicks winning the
championship
next
year. It'd be if the Knicks came out and just won the whole thing next year.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's what it would be. Which would be kind of.
There's nothing that compares to it.
No. That's just so
that was insane. And remember, like at the very beginning of the season too, Leicester topped the table because they won on the first day,
right?
Like the opening day, and we were on the group chat, and I said something. I was like, "All right, guys, looks like it's time to buy our Leicester City Championship, like
shirts,
the Premier League champions shirts, because they're at the top of the table that first day, and then end of the season they freaking win the whole thing."
And that's a time you want that Back to the Future sports almanac.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was one guy who had the bet.
Yeah, he did. I think he put like $20 on him or something.
Yeah,
and made
won, what was it? It was 5,000.
5,000 to 1.
So, yeah.
So it's like $20,000. Maybe I'm doing my math wrong.
No, it's like $100,000.
Yeah, it's $100,000. You're right. Yeah.
What a crazy! That was probably like a drunken bet too.
Yeah, I'll give you some. Yeah, just a diehard Leicester fan.
Yeah, he's just like, "Fuck it, mate, they're gonna win."
I'm telling you now, everyone's just like
20 quid on it.
Oh man, bet sports betting. Like some guys at the office were like, "Dan, I'm sure you sports team." I'm like, I do not, because they're really into sports betting.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But they pegged me as someone who wouldn't partake. I just you know.
Yeah, you're the guy who like does the numbers for the sports betting.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're the guy who takes their money.
I wouldn't do it if I didn't know I could win. And there are actually people, independent sports bettors, who are not like, they're not just drunken dudes at casinos. Like they do it like for a living, and they're just really like, they're better than bookies at counting it and running their and like getting their value out of it.
It's like a stockbroker then.
Yeah, exactly. It's a similar type thing. Yeah. And they're just really talented at, there are like some independent sports bettors who are just really good at it. Because they can read, they're really good at predicting the odds and seeing if the odds the book gives you are actually good or not. So, it's a weird thing, but it's like one of those things when you really think about what's going on. People betting money on other people, kind of weird.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
It's like, these people get together and do this thing, and if they do it in this way, I'll get some money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of funny how like betting on sports has been around forever too. Like as long as there's been sports, there's been betting on sports.
So true.
Like the Roman chariot races, there's some big cash flow at those Roman chariot races.
Oh yeah, it's like a horse race. They all got those stylish shirts on.
Yeah.
I'm sure those stylish Roman shirts they got.
If I could go back and see like any sporting event, I think it would have to be like something like that. Those must have been crazy.
Oh yeah, those must have been
those Roman and Greek events, man.
I would love to go back in time, just in general, see what's going on, check stuff out.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, those events must have been kind of crazy. people getting drunk. I feel like if the Romans came to the future, they would think, "Oh, this is the same thing that we were doing back in the day. You guys didn't change this up."
Yeah. Hey guys, this was like a temporary thing. We thought you'd
Yeah,
improve upon this.
like, guys, this is kind of barbaric. You still doing this?
You guys looking like the Gauls out here.
The Gauls and all the different types of German elk. Another important lesson from Latin class, of which there are 3. That was a good time.
Please, Caesar, tell me more about those German elk.
They're 50-line passage about German.
It's kind of interesting though, like looking back on that stuff that we read during Latin class. Like it was so weird. It's so weird, but also it's kind of interesting. Like, this is just some dude writing about some German elk.
Yeah, like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago.
That's wild.
That it is crazy.
You know what I think is so crazy too? How people figure out how to translate a language. Like Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how you
this arbitrary word means this in our language now. So like figuring out how it all fits together.
Yeah, I don't know how you meet somebody else like that doesn't speak your language at all, like at like a new, like how did the first people who contacted China, like even when like the Silk Road started and whatnot, like how did the Middle Eastern people that went there, like the explorers that went to China like for the first time and India and stuff, how did they communicate with these guys? Like
I think when it's like person to person, it's a bit easier because you can use hand signals stuff, and then you can like point at something and you say, like, "This is that," like this is a book, and then they'd say like their word for book, and then you'd kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
like piece by piece.
Right.
But for something like Latin, actually, I mean, it kind of got passed down over time. But if it's like when people figured out how to translate, what's it called? The super old one.
Yeah, Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Yeah, hieroglyphics or the Mesopotamian one.
Sanskrit.
Yeah, Sanskrit. Like how they figured that shit out.
Right.
Like it looks like chicken scratch, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this means papaya." Like what the fuck? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would actually be kind of fun, just like going into a completely foreign country and just like figuring out the language.
Yeah.
Like not if you had to survive on it, but just as like a kind of like a game,
That's sort of what I did with China, but I was taking a class, but
yeah,
I just sort of whipped in.
That's true.
Know much Chinese.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't know any Chinese actually. I was just cruised in, said, "Hey, they're doing weird stuff over there." But
yes,
yes, China.
All right. Anyway, I think that's probably a pretty good stopping point.
Yeah, I think we got some good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's good to be back.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, you've been busy. Around. Got some.
I've been real busy.
Yeah, I've been. We had a new person at work, so I'm sort of helping them out. So it's
oh, Mr. Training Man.
Yeah.
You got a Padawan.
Yeah, how to work with the government, help them do stuff.
Oh, speaking of Star Wars, have you seen the new trailer for?
No, I went to watch it.
Mandalorian. Oh, it looks sick.
Yeah,
looks so good.
It's Ewan McGregor, isn't it?
No.
It's
that's
not?
the one that's like about the bounty hunter.
Oh, okay.
And that's the guy from Game of Thrones. You know the Viper?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that guy. He's like the bounty hunter, like the Boba Fett looking bounty hunter, the Mandalorian. And then there's there's Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad in it. And then there's one other like big actor that I saw in the trailer. But it looks really good.
Oh, the Mandalorian. Here we are, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're right though. Ewan McGregor is gonna play Obi-Wan Kenobi in like a spin-off TV series of Obi-Wan. So that's awesome too.
Yeah. What is it gonna air on?
The Disney's starting their own
Disney Plus
thing. Yeah, I'm getting real sick of that though.
Yeah.
It's honestly just gonna become cable again.
Yeah.
Like everybody's gonna have their own streaming, and then you're gonna have to buy all of them, and then it's gonna become packaged just like cable is packaged.
Yep.
It's really stupid.
Huh.
But those two shows look awesome, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pull the trigger for that streaming service.
Just gotta see if you can get that free trial over.
Yeah, exactly. Just make another 8 email accounts.
Just use the old ones you already made.
I may have forgotten all those passwords. That's kind of the flow chart of it. Make an email account, you do free trial, do the free trial, forget the email account exists, forget the password, and then just make a new email account.
That's pretty fun.
All right. Anyway,
All right,
I'll
cool.
catch you later, amigo.
All right, sounds good.
Adios.
See you.
All right. Thank you for tuning on into the podcast. Hope you enjoyed Dan and I rambling like we do. And remember, if you're ever in the kitchen with him, you better watch out, especially if he's making that lasagna. It's dangerous. All right. Anyway, until next time. Adios.